Hey y'all, it's Lindsey. Today I wanted to answer a question that I get frequently asked, and that is, what is my mayo recipe? To start with, for my ingredients and my tools, I'm going to be using 2 eggs. These are room temperature. I have some salt. Any salt you like to use is fine. Some yellow mustard. I have apple cider vinegar back here. And then I have 2 types of oil. This is the extra light tasting oil, olive oil, sorry, extra light tasting olive oil. And then this is avocado oil. You can use any kind of oil you want. MCT oil would be a great addition to this recipe. You can use vegetable oils. I personally don't like to. Canola oil is something we steer clear from. Anything that's not one of these, like olive oil, avocado oil, or coconut oil, we tend to just ignore. Okay, so those are my ingredients. For tools, I'll be using my immersion blender. This is the star of my mayo process. This, in conjunction with this measuring jar, cylinder, measuring cup, is what makes mayo so easy for me. And then just like a spatula and a measuring spoon. I don't actually use my measuring spoon all that often, but I have it in case I want it. Okay, so the process. Let me kind of clear up a little bit of space here. Okay, first step, I'm going to crack my eggs into my jar. Okay, gonna go wash my hands. Eggs in my container. I'm going to use a splash of my apple cider vinegar. That might have been maybe a 1/4 to a 1/2 teaspoon. I'm going to do the tiniest squirt of mustard, not even an 1/8 of a teaspoon. I'm going to use some of my salt here. This about a 1/4 teaspoon. And for my next step, I'm going to put my stick portion of my stick blender into my jar, and then I'm going to pour my oil down the stick of the blender so that it does not super well incorporate into my egg and seasoning mixture in the bottom. For every egg I use in the recipe, I can get away with between 3/4 and 1 full cup of oil. And the nice thing about this measuring jar is that it does have these measuring tick marks along the side of it. So for 2 eggs, I can get away with up to 16 ounces of oil. That took up about a 1/4 cup for those 2 eggs and the other seasonings. And now I'm going to get probably between the 16 and 20 ounce mark. Pouring it down the stick portion of the blender slows the oil down and prevents it from mixing too quickly. That's about good. Okay, now is the key. I'm going to pop on my motor portion of my stick blender, and I'm going to very slowly bring my stick out of the blending cup, but very, very slowly, so that only small amounts of the oil get mixed into my eggs and other seasonings down here, and it gives it a better chance to emulsify. All right, as you can see, very glossy, very thick, rich mayonnaise. If it was still a little bit thin for my liking, I could easily add some more oil to this and continue to blend it in. but that to me looks like some very delicious mayonnaise. I'm not gonna let any of this go to waste. So I can just store this in a jar. I could store it in this container itself. This container comes with a handy silicone lid that I could just pop this whole thing into the refrigerator as is. But my family likes it to be in squeeze tubes. It makes our life a little bit less messy, and it's easier for my children to use the mayonnaise this way. So I usually like to use these little twist tie bags from Walmart. They're just the Great Value brand. They're usually used for breads. This makes it really easy to put the mayo into the jar when you snip the corner like a pastry bag. However, I recently ordered these pastry bags off Amazon. They came with 6 bags, different little tools and things, and these make it really easy and make for a great reusable option for getting my mayo from my mixing container into our bottles. So that is what I will use to do this. So that's as easy as it gets for making mayonnaise. My immersion blender and that tall skinny jar are really the stars and the key tools for making this work well. That plus some room temperature ingredients. Making sure those ingredients are all the same really makes a difference. Whenever I break a mayo, I will put 1 extra egg into my big stand blender back here, this Ninja, and I will turn it on high power. I will slowly drizzle my broken mayo into this blender while it's running at high speed. I'll drizzle that in through the pour spout, and that will almost always fix a broken mayo, and I can usually add about half cup to 3/4 of a cup more oil to that to fix it and to make more mayo. Thank you so much for coming along with me as I shared my recipe with you. I will see you in my next video.